What's the Church of Scientology so afraid of?
This is SPTV.
Tom Cruise is saying that David Miscavige, who I personally have seen beat people left, right, and center, is saying that he's the leader of leaders and he should know because he's met them all, which is just hot air. And then David Miscavige saying Tom Cruise, the notorious of the Whoozy Medal of Valor, is the most dedicated Scientologist he knows. Salute, hug, kiss, you know. Come on, you guys. Go get a room and let's get on with it. This is crazy.
Yes, this is crazy. Hello, everyone. So I'm doing a video here about Scientology PIs. So private investigators from Scientology have been a good part of my life since I left. My husband and I have enjoyed their presence, or not so much. Sometimes more than others. But recently we've had some activity. Like A-Aron said on his channel, we had a barbecue at a lake recently. And you know when you get a creepy crawly feeling up the back of your neck? Well, I had that. And so that usually means to me that somebody is watching me. I could always tell when a PI was around. It was really funny. I would just get these feelers out and my hair would stand up on the back of my neck and I would just look around and there they were, sure enough. And so I had that at the barbecue all of a sudden. And so I looked around and the very next picnic table over was just a guy sitting there, and I caught him because I turned around and I looked and he had his video camera, his phone, facing over at us. And as soon as I noticed him and then full on looked at him, it got a reaction. So then I thought, he came up on my Richter scale. And he's by himself, pointing his camera toward a group of SPs. So probably more than likely doing something bad. So I kept my eye on him, and then he kind of walked back and forth, with his camera positioned in a way where it could just catch who's at our little barbecue. And so I thought, I would start videoing him. They love it when you do that. And so what happened was I started videoing him, and he just, how, like, if you're overtly videoing somebody, they're going to kind of like be suspicious of you. And ask you, what are you doing? But I'm sitting there with my camera in his face, and he's just like straight looking, and trying to like not say anything and not notice and just keep walking like a robot, but my dog. And so he was busted. And then he came over with some lady and sat on a park bench right, 50 feet from where we were at, facing the lake on like one of these bench swings. And you got it. But the lady was like turned around facing him on the bench. It was just so weird. You just don't do that. And so obviously she was keeping an eye on us, maybe recording us somehow or whatever, but it was weird. For 45 minutes, my back would have been seriously out, twisted around like that in order to face us. Anyway, so that was stupid. And then, so they got up and started to leave, but they're not going to leave. So they're going to get replaced by somebody else because they were obviously made. So everyone's like, okay, they're leaving. And I'm like, oh yeah. So wait, there's going to be somebody taking their place. There's going to be a replacement coming along, trying to be very, very covert this time because now we're on to them. So this couple comes with a dog walking past. However, I see her as she's walking, the lady as she's walking up, and she's got her phone out. And I thought, okay, so this could be the private investigators. So she's got her phone out, and then so she's walking by, and then she like takes her phone and kind of puts it over at her shoulder where we are. At her shoulder. So I just kind of jumped up and I ran over there and I said, hi, just like this. And then they just kept going again. So it was, again, another just obvious, totally stupid reaction. And then we were on a lake, and then they kept going like around the lake on the little path around the lake. And every time there was an opening, they would stop and start taking photos our direction. Just totally stupid. Obviously, they were told, find out who's at the SP barbecue, because maybe there's somebody there that shouldn't be there, that's supposed to be still, under the radar or something like that. I don't know, but they don't have anything better to do. They spend a lot of money on this crap, on these private investigators. Tony Ortega put out, where is it? He put out an article on Saturday that's it says, Scientology PI comes forward. I was stalking Mike Rinder, Amy Scobee, and many others. So I'll just read this to you so you can get my reaction as I'm reading it. I hope you can hear me, because I realize the microphone is far away. I'll move it a little closer here. And I don't even have the light on. Whatever. Maybe that helps. Okay, so it says, my name is Alana Warren. In 2009, I started school at City College in Castleberry, Florida, in the private investigation program run under Michelle Morton. Several months after I started, Michelle approached me about an internship opportunity, and she had me go to Clearwater for an interview. That is when I met Dwayne Powell, who you will see is a piece of work, and Terry Roffler. I don't know who that is. We met and had the interview at the restaurant Frenchie's Rockaway Grill. Very important to the story. No, it's not. After the interview, I was hired immediately. I was told no information except that it was a big corporate case. Yeah, Scientology is a corporation. It's not a religion. Business. It's a business, and it should not have tax exemption. I was made to sign a non-disclosure agreement stating that I would not talk about anything having to do with the case. If I did so, then I was subject to be sued by them $10,000 per contract violation. I was told that Terry Roffler was the one with the client and that Dwayne Powell was the lead investigator. Investigation, right? And I was to work under Dwayne's supervision. You'll see how he supervises the women in his charge. At first, I was responsible for watching and following Amy Scobee and Matt Pesch. We had a motel room across from where they were living. Yes, they did, very obviously. We had a whole setup in the room with cameras watching them. We had to watch them from the time they woke up until their lights went out. One person would be in the room watching while the other investigators were posted in different positions in their cars waiting for them to leave so we could follow them. It was so crazy. I really should show you some of the pictures that they took, because it ended up on Scientology websites, me in a bathing suit. Anyway, I was going to do that I'm doing a separate video about fat shaming, because Scientology's expert at it, and it's a disgusting thing that they do. And so I'll save it for that. But anyway, they were taking pictures of me in my backyard. After we spoke to the St. Pete Times, there were 2 dead rats floating in the pool that we swam in every day. And I'm sure that was Dwayne. And, we'd put our trash out right there where they rented their little, because they were literally 50 feet from our door, at that little cottage that they rented. And we'd put our garbage out, and they would snatch it up within seconds of getting it. And so we would throw little distraction notices in there, knowing that they were taking our garbage. Try to live your life with people just like that all over you. It's disgusting. Anyway, that's because Scientology is disgusting. Anyway, so it says, So one person would be in the room watching while the other investigators were posted in different positions in their cars waiting for them to leave so we could follow them. Okay. We had a setup where we could watch them at their warehouse through a tiny hole in the woods that Dwayne said he personally made. I spent the first couple of days riding with Dwayne in his vehicle so he could show me the ropes. Yeah, he made a tiny little hole in the woods. What else did you do there, Dwayne? When I first started following Amy and Matt, Dwayne said they were creatures of habit. They would leave their place at the same time every day to go to their warehouse. I was told they also like to going to either Sweet Tomatoes or Cracker Barrel for lunch. At one point, we started making bets as to which restaurant they would eat at for lunch that day. At that time, it was only me, another intern from City College, Dwayne, and Terry working the case. Oh, only 4 of you on us too? Dwayne and I would always go into the restaurants together to keep eyes on the subjects. I love being called a subject. And you must have eaten pretty well, though, if you were following us around to our nice little lunch restaurants. Dwayne and I became romantically involved shortly after I started working. This is this lady talking. And if you'll recall, on Scientology in the Aftermath, there was this totally other lady that worked with Dwayne Powell on following all of us and PI work in Clearwater during the same time period that Dwayne got pregnant and she had a baby with him. So this is a different lady. Listen to this. So Dwayne and I became romantically involved shortly after I started working. At first, I was hesitant because he was my boss and I was trying to start my life over with the career I had always wanted. However, he told me a story about how we had met years ago at a bar, Cowboys in Orlando. The details that he told me, no one would have known unless they were there that night. While we were seeing each other, we continued to follow Amy and Matt around for a few months. Once Mike Rinder moved to Florida, I was told to start following him. We referred to that part of the case as Impulse, which was in regards to the company Mike was working for, Impulse Marketing Group. I was told that it was a fake telemarketing company that was scamming people. Once I was moved to the Impulse case, Dwayne's brother Devin joined the case along with 2 other private investigators, Rick and John. We had 6 investigators total, or as we called in the reports, pros. Following Mike, Christy Colburn, Hayden, and Lucy James, and anyone else associated with them. Eventually, 3 more investigators were added for a total of 9 pros working the Impulse case. Let's just think about how much these guys are getting paid. I mean, when Dwayne was busted while he was stalking Ron Miscavige Sr., David Miscavige's dad, who had left, they were stalking him. They were getting paid $10,000 a week. Okay, so now here's 9 pros. Just on Mike Rinder and the Impulse case, let alone however many were on the rest of us. Anyway, it goes on to say, Mike, Christy, Hayden, and Lucy were living in a house together off Riverview Drive in Tarpon Springs. We rented a place just a few houses down on the corner of the street. More expense. Renting a house. Okay, my dog is going crazy. Mango, get over here. Come. Okay, so sorry. There must be another dog walking outside. I should have closed the curtain. Anyways, so it says, let's see. Devin and myself would take turns living at the house. We had a video camera and a still camera set up looking through the side garage door toward their house. Either Devin or I would stay there all day and keep eyes on their house. The other investigators would be positioned in specific spots, ready to follow when someone left. One time, while positioned outside of the house at a park close by, I was approached by Hayden. He knocked on my window, and when I rolled it down, he was very angry and said he knew I was working for the church and told me to stop watching and following them. I told him I had no idea what he was talking about, that I worked remotely and was just taking my lunch break. I had my lunch out and it made it look like I was watching a movie on my laptop. At that point, my vehicle was considered burned, and I had to go get a new rental vehicle. I still, to this day, don't know why they had me sit in such an exposed spot. It was definitely not where I personally would have chosen. Just on that point, I think there's two things about the PIs, two purposes of the PIs. One, to intimidate us, to shudder us into silence. Didn't work. And two, to provide intel on our contacts, our location, who we're speaking with, if we're going to the media or whatever, to kind of give them some sort of prediction on what's going on. Plus, David Miscavige is obsessed with our lives. I don't know why. But anyway, besides that, we're speaking out and exposing him, so he's a paranoid little schizophrenic psychopath, sociopath. So we had GPS trackers on almost every single vehicle. I knew we were being tracked, just in case we lost them in traffic. Since Mike was well aware that he was being followed, we always had to keep a good distance from them to try and stay out of sight. If we were getting too close and had to back off, Dwayne would bring up the GPS trackers on one of his laptops so that we wouldn't lose them. I remember one time when Mike and Christy's GPS tracking device battery died. We had followed them to the AMC West Shore 14 in Tampa, where they were going to see the movie Avatar. Dwayne and I went into the theater with them and sat several rows behind them. Halfway through the movie, Dwayne left the theater. I continued to keep eyes on them so Dwayne could replace their GPS device with a new fully charged one. He texted me when he was done. Then I left the theater and went back to my car to wait for them. How scuzzy is that? That they can plant these devices on your car like that. What a profession, huh? During my time working for the church, we probably went through hundreds of rental cars. We would change them out frequently. Hundreds of rental cars. That's just these guys. We would change them out frequently so that we wouldn't be made. Dwayne would occasionally switch out license plates from the rental cars. Those were the license plates that they found on him when he got caught following David Miscavige's father, Ron Miscavige, in Wisconsin. Oh my gosh, then it just goes on and on of other subjects that they were following. She says, it wasn't until later that I found out from a fellow intern that we were actually working for Scientology and following these people that had left the church to make sure they did not speak to any news reporters about what actually was going on within Scientology. At that point, I had a huge problem with what I was being asked to do. Also, during that time, I ended up getting pregnant with Dwayne's child. Dwayne told me that once Terry found out, I would be pulled from the case because I would be a liability. Dwayne manipulated me and forced me into having an abortion, which he paid for. After being forced to have the abortion on January 4th, 2010, I found myself in a horrible state of mind, which I can only imagine. I couldn't believe I had let him do that. And for what? To keep following around all these innocent people just trying to live their lives? All I wanted was to be a PI and help people. Instead, I had become someone who was hurting people. So I ended up quitting the case. Dwayne had me work a couple of domestic cases, but eventually I stopped doing PI work altogether. For a long time, I have stayed silent in fear of repercussions. Every time I told Dwayne I was going to speak out after quitting, I was told not to because I would be sued. I was also told that Terry and a former PI co-worker by the name of John were following me. Dwayne even sent me a picture of my vehicle parked at my friend's apartment to prove they were following me. I'm no longer scared of the church and want to speak out about what I know. Alana Warren. Dwayne's an ass, I gotta say. I mean, he's sending her pictures about how she's being followed and all this kind of stuff to keep her silent. Yeah. Anyway, what a manipulative little prick. And so Tony Ortega wanted to know my response. I wrote him this. I said, It's great when someone gets the courage to speak out. The PIs were very overtly following us, sometimes 3 cars tailing us at a time, including across state lines from one end of the country to the other. Scientology was trying to scare us out of Clearwater while obtaining information on our contacts and activities. We haven't spoken much about PI activity over the years because we didn't want it to scare anyone who may potentially come forward with their own stories. People have become less afraid of retaliation since so many eyes are on Scientology's behavior, and the world hates bullies. I'm glad Alana came forward. Her confirmation of what we witnessed is appreciated, and I'm very glad that she's changed her profession. So that's all of that. So what else do I want to say besides this? Yes, Dave, I know you're watching. Where's Shelley? That's what we want to know. So those are the things that I wanted to tell you and talk to you about on the Scientology Private Investigators. It doesn't stop us from speaking out because it's the right thing to do. It's just the right thing to do. And truth will prevail. What else can you say? Their crimes will be exposed. And I don't like bullies. I knew that speaking out would come with its consequences. You know, they've threatened to sue me and all kinds of stuff, whatever. And I said, bring it. I don't know. You've got billions of dollars. I left Scientology with $150 to my name. And what I did with that was get my hair done. Because I was in the RPF Rehabilitation Project Force for a couple of years looking like a scraggly muffin. So I used it to get my hair done. So I'm starting in the world with nothing. I had nothing. I had no high school diploma because I never went to high school. I just finished junior high before they scooped me up. And then I didn't have a bank account. I didn't know how to drive. I didn't know how to cook. It was weird joining the world, but that's going to be a whole other subject that my husband and I are going to do a video on, is our escape and getting started in the real world and what we did, because we had to be very creative. So I just want to say that I love you guys. I want to say this. Thank you for watching. Love to everyone. Please subscribe. I also want to say this, which is this is my Facebook fan page that I just launched. And so if you want to go there and I don't know, what do? You like and subscribe a fan page? I don't know, but join the fan page. What else do I want to say? I have a new countdown. Did you notice that? Did I put it up there? I'll just show this for a second. Okay, here. This is my new beautiful, oh, I have to take that banner off. Whoops. I always got to figure this out here. Hold on. Okay, so now you can see it without that banner in it. So this is the new countdown that I just got from one of my subscribers, which is wonderful. I want to figure out how to add a little bit of sound to it because I don't know how to do it yet. I'm trying to figure it out. I have a certain kind of software, but it seems to just add the music at the end instead of during the stupid thing. So I have to figure that out. But that's me learning. Anyway, so I'm going to keep the videos coming, and I have a whole list of ones that I want to do. I want to get my husband in here. He needs some nudging. So I'm going to get him in here. We're going to do our escape story, and we'll take it from there. That'll be probably one of my next ones that I do. Okay. Aside from live, Thursday night. We have Thursday night with Mike Rinder and Amy Scobee live, 7 p.m. So mark your calendar. That's Eastern time. All right. Well, I love you guys. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you later. Bye.